Now that we have set our goals and have a budget in place, it's time to move on to actually starting to plan the event. All events have some basic elements in common. This includes choosing your event format, setting a date, and selecting where you'll host your event. Most Sertoma Club events are going to focus on one of three main purposes: to educate, to socialize, or to fundraise. In other words, we're either trying to teach others about our mission, trying to recruit or recognize others who will help us support our mission, or seeking financial support to make our mission possible. In the first part of our event basics training, we will go over the ins and outs of choosing your event format, date, and venue. As always, you can find supplemental information on this topic in the Sertoma Club Event Planning Guide, which is available for download in our online member center. Let's focus first on choosing your event format, starting with educational events. These can take many shapes and sizes depending on the impact that you want to have and the audience that you wish to reach. Educational events fall within three different categories according to Meeting App Company Meeting Play. First, we have presenter. In these types of events, the speaker has a mostly one-way conversation with the audience about a topic, often to excite attendees about a larger event or to address specific concerns. Examples include keynote presentations or town hall meetings. Next is thought leadership, which focuses on more informal conversations with recognized subject experts. Q&As typically play a big part in helping to keep the audience engaged. Example formats include panel discussions, fireside chats, and roundtable discussions. And finally, collaboration. With collaborative events, the purpose is to provide ample opportunity for casual and/or formal networking. While these sessions might include some moderation, the focus really is on peer-to-peer interaction. Examples might include breakouts or themed happy hours. Of course, there are some educational events that are going to be more of a hybrid of 2 or 3 of these formats. Often longer in length, whether it's by days or hours, these hybrid events will offer opportunities to learn, hear from leadership, and connect with other attendees. Events typically come in the form of well-known meeting styles like conventions, conferences, one-day summits, festivals, fairs, and expos. Thanks to advances in technology, many traditional events can now exist within a virtual space. Webinars can be a great option here. They are the entry level of online learning, focusing on a single topic over a shorter time period, 30 to 60 minutes typically. Webinars usually include a short Q&A period at the end if time allows. You can also extend your webinar program with what Guild Digital Limited calls Webinar Plus. With this format, you will introduce additional content to give attendees a deeper dive into the topic, thus building on impact and value. The upside to the virtual event boom is that it is encouraging planners to be more flexible and innovative. It can also be especially challenging to make traditionally in-person events engaging and memorable when they become virtual. It's also increasingly important to provide and prove value. When it comes to social events, it's all about engaging your attendees and opportunities to connect with your club, its mission, and/or each other. Its exact purpose can be one of many, anything from membership recruitment and recognition to networking or just pure fun. Examples of social events include, but are not limited to, award banquets or galas, social mixers, cocktail hours, business after-hours events, membership parties, club anniversary dinners, public community events, such as craft fairs or street festivals, and other similar events. Fundraisers are going to have a special set of planning requirements you will want to keep in mind, particularly when it comes to how you collect donations and spend your budget. It will be important that the planning team work closely with the club treasurer to make sure events are meeting any local, state, and federal guidelines. Sertoma also provides some general guidance in its many manuals and trainings available through the online member center. On the national front, Sertoma is proud to offer the Celebrate Sound Turnkey Fundraising and Awareness Program. This initiative helps promote our national hearing health mission on a local level. To learn more, visit celebratesound.org. Sertoma clubs have become experts in putting together effective and innovative fundraisers to support their many mission activities. This slide shows just a handful of the many events our clubs have held over the years. Take a look at the list. Are there any that fit your club's mission? The next step in your planning process is to choose when and where your club will have the event. The two will often inform one another. Your dates may be subject to venue availability. Other times you may choose your venue based on your required dates. Let's break these down separately. When is the best time to host your event? This is an age-old question with an answer that depends greatly on the individual circumstances you're facing. UK-based Boleto Blog suggests looking at a host of criteria when choosing your event dates, starting with audience. This should be your top priority. It's all about choosing dates and times that are convenient and practical for the attendees you want to attract to your event. Are they willing to take time off of work? If not, you may want to avoid work hours and/or work days. Planning timeline. Make sure to give your planning team plenty of time to execute the necessary steps for your event to be successful. Vacation schedules. Are summer vacations, spring breaks, and holiday plans a major factor for your audience? Don't plan your event during these treasured downtimes. Community factors. Look at what's going on in your area. You don't want to plan your dates during another major public event or in the midst of key elections. You'll also want to take into account any major public works like transportation strikes or major road construction. Consistency. Depending on the event and your club, this one may or may not matter. Some clubs prefer to have the event at the same time each year. If that's not a huge factor, you might consider switching it up to see if you can reach a new audience. Competition. Are there any other local organizations that hold events similar to yours? Make sure that your event doesn't clash with theirs. Boleto recommends mapping out competing events on a calendar to give you a clear picture at a glance. Weather. If you live in an area where weather is a factor, you have to take it into account. From hurricane season to winter weather to spring storms, consider any environmental conditions that could impact the success of your on-site events, whether they're held indoors or outdoors. Awareness days. If your event has a specific theme, see if it matches up with an awareness day or month. This can be a great way to draw media attention, as many newspapers, radio stations, blogs, and TV news programs like to report on these lighthearted or charitable days. Partner availability. Most clubs have venues, vendors, speakers, entertainment, and other key partners that they like to work with on events. Check with any people and businesses you want on board to make sure that they're available on your prospective dates. There's nothing more important to an in-person event than the location. Choosing the venue is a critical process with very impactful repercussions. You will want to start your search as soon as possible, at least 4 to 6 months in advance, according to WOVA, an event technology company. In fact, they advise that planners begin as soon as they have their budget, estimated event size, and space requirements in place. WOVA offers many factors that your planning team should consider. This includes location, parking, capacity, food and beverage minimums, services, layout, accessibility, and more. You can read more about this on page 14 of your club event planning guide. Now, if you've made the move online, you might think that it keeps you safe from the great venue search, but it couldn't be further from the truth. It just takes on a different form as you're now charged with selecting a virtual event platform. For small events like club meetings or a basic webinar, you may not need to put a lot of thought into it. Sertoma offers free Zoom services to its clubs. Clubs can reserve their meeting time by signing up in the Club Resources section of the Member Center online. However, if your event is more complex, you might want to consider a dedicated event platform that can provide you with a variety of integrated services such as hosting, planning, production, and automated marketing. So what kinds of things might you look for in a virtual event platform? Check out the list here on the screen. Keep in mind, some of these features may not be a priority for your event. You only need to consider those that matter to your club. The list starts with communication features. This is how you will communicate with your attendees and how they can network with and talk to one another. Next up is event management. This is a big one. It includes professional event registration, marketing options, mobile apps, website services, presentation management, AV controls, and more. If you will be using more than one platform, you must make sure that the various software programs will integrate together. On to your content. You'll want to know how the platform captures, records, and stores event content. Depending on the event, you may also want the ability to offer scheduled pre-recorded content. We need to think about our key partners like vendors, sponsors, and advertisers. Look at what capabilities and limitations your prospective platform offers in regards to these key stakeholders. This can include monetization for ads, the ability to visibly promote your sponsors, and more. What types of needs does your virtual event have? This may be things like online exhibit space, special breakout sessions, general lobby areas, registration, and virtual info booths. Of course, we have branding. Events are often there to support a larger brand, such as your club or flagship mission. You want to make sure that your virtual hub has everything that matches the look and message. Otherwise, attendees might become confused to the point where they mistake the event as belonging to someone else. Technology. You must have access to your system's backend to know which processes are automated and which rely on humans. This is also the time to think about analytics and metrics that measure the success of your event. And then there's your broadcasting options. Some events require only live broadcasting, while others may need the option to put pre-recorded content alongside live Q&As. Finally, we have social media integration. This is a relatively new priority for many clubs. The goal is to make your event easy to share with others, with an ultimate goal of expanding your reach. While most club events are going to be held in the general area where your attendees live and work, there may come a time when you have to plan an event that includes people from across a region or even the country. In those instances, the destination plays a major role in your ability to attract strong attendance. Of course, there are some things you'll want to think about as you go through the process of choosing a host city, according to the American Society of Association Executives. That includes the attendee budget. They will only come if they can afford it. Attendees are also looking for an experience when they travel to events far from home. This means that they're looking for attractive entertainment, tourist, and dining options. And lastly, transportation. Make sure your city is easily accessible by plane, train, and automobile. We're now through the first few steps in your planning basics, but the work is just getting started. We encourage you to continue your education on this topic with Part 2 of Event Basics. In the meantime, don't forget that you can find additional informational and educational resources in our Member Center at members.sertoma.org. You can also connect with us in our members-only Facebook group using the link on the screen.